All right, so we got you sliding on in. We got Mandi Macias in the house. So how you doing? Oh, hey, you gotta love it. The microphone's going all over the place. So you gotta. The one thing I did notice with Mandi just now is you know how to control your stage presence. That was a good catch.
You gotta have fast reflexes.
You do.
You never know it's gonna come at you.
That's so. I know, right? You're like, whoa. But hopefully you never get into one of those situations on stage. But you know what? We're excited because I know Marissa and I, we're stoked to have you as our featured Strike a Chord Artist of the month of September. And I think you're really unique because you really are a rising star.
Oh,
and
thank you.
For all the listeners out there who don't know you, who is Mandi?
I always joke around. I'm just like an average teen who just followed my dreams. And when I was younger, I was always just passionate about music and writing. And I know I just followed it, and now I'm here. And I always joke around. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just an average teenager, you know?
But like average teenagers don't usually take those steps that you're taking in a musical career really young. And that's why I'm so amazed by you.
Thank
you.
And
I know that Marissa, I'm kind of jumping on this a little bit, but Marissa, I know you noticed something that you thought was really special about you.
I was stalking you.
Well, that's kind of our job, Marissa.
I stalked your guys' Instagram too. It's all right.
Perfect. Wait, what did you see? What do I gotta get rid of?
Your website mentions that you started writing songs at the age of 8 when your Nana passed away.
Yes.
And so was music like an outlet to handle your grief for that and letting go of what you were feeling in the moment? Like what kind of drove you where you were like, that's how I want to deal with the situation?
So definitely, music is my release. It's how I get everything out, whether it's happiness or grief. But my Nana always encouraged me to write a song for her. And I was younger. I was like 8. So I was like, okay, like I'll write a song. But like I never did. I was like too like distracted by child things. You're playing with your friends. And when she passed away, I just had this like dying, like I really wanted to write her a song. She deserved that song. And so I wrote my first song, which is called Old Pal. And it was just like saying how I missed her and how time will always be forever with her, how I'll always have her. And I played it for her husband, my grandpa, and he just cried and he was like, she's so proud of you. And it was just a beautiful moment.
I love those kind of moments that like when your relatives and family like recognize something special when you're young. Because like I even know with like my family, we used to always put these show and tells for Christmas and all the cousins would get together and we'd try to do like a little theater thing. And I always kind of always think like, Boppy, thank you, because you got me comfortable in my own skin. And I think that's really cool with what your nanny did.
Yeah.
And and my biggest thing is too, I'm always curious because with someone young like you, are you writing your own music or do you work with somebody when it comes to composing your music?
Yes. So my first EP was all my own music. I composed it and I wrote the lyrics.
Wow, I'm really amazed.
And so I brought that to a producer. He produced the music for me, and like that was my baby. It was my first big thing. Recently, I've been collabing with a lot of more producers, but I do write my songs, so I write the lyrics and everything.
And how's the studio life?
Studio life, that's interesting because I go to school and then I'm up to like 3 a.m. recording songs or like trying to figure things out. So that's definitely interesting.
You're definitely not lazy.
It depends. I have my lazy days.
I mean, we all have decision fatigue at times, like we were saying. So I mean, that's a normal thing. But I guess I might as well throw that at you. I know sometimes you might have some roadblocks in your life, and sometimes I'm sure when you're writing music, you just have a brain fart.
Yes.
And how would you encourage the listeners who want to be a musician like you and an artist to just keep going and keep driving?
If you have roadblocks, it's okay. It happens. I mean, even writers have writer's block, So what I do is I just like go out, do something that I enjoy doing, like going to the beach, I like running. So I run with my sister.
Okay.
And sometimes on my run, I'll spot something or I'll see something that just like inspires me or I'll see a quote, something, and I'll write it down. And then later I'll look at that and just like talk about it and then see what that inspires.
I just have to ask you this even random question too. I was watching Jimmy Fallon on late night.
Okay.
And he records his own music doing voice memos. Do you do that?
Yes.
Really?
I didn't know he did that. That's so
I
cool.
guess he because they were playing a game with Kim Kardashian about you got to expose something on your phone, and he had this raw taping. So I think that's kind of cool that you were embracing the digital technology because I don't even know what people in the 70s were doing with analog.
I know.
And we're kind of blessed, right?
What's analog? No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, oh dear, that's for another
I do know
episode.
analog.
But I think that is just so groovy, because when I start thinking about someone like you who has to adapt in this kind of nature, and I know even with Instagram, for example, I know that's
Yes,
been a
big one.
huge influencer even for you to have your rising career get started.
Definitely a big one.
Yeah, I mean, how did that kind of get started?
Well, I mean, I've had Instagram for a very long time. I grew up with Instagram. But like when I just started posting covers, and like first my friends were like, wow, they're really good. Like keep posting them. I started posting like some originals, and then people were like, okay, we really like your original songs. So
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, like I wanna make this serious.
Like,
I wanna
Mom,
make
come
this
on, let's
serious.
go.
So, my mom helped me with making like a business account on Instagram, and just we kind of started from there, and we just built up,
Right, you just got to keep grinding and always
I
constantly
love
posting
that
content.
your mom is, she's also your manager.
Yes.
But they're so supportive. And it
Yes.
reminds me of a lot of Lily Joy, because her mom is
Yes.
also her manager.
Yeah.
And just having that support. But you guys,
important.
both are still going to school.
Yes.
So it's like your mom was like, cool, I want you to have that, thing, but also have the education behind it.
Definitely.
And still be a kid.
Yeah,
Because there's a difference still going to high school and doing kid stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
going to a football game later today. So
nice.
I
Yeah, you
get
gotta
it. I
still
get it.
be
I get
you.
to have the best of both worlds.
I mean, that is so cool. And just to kind of throw you off with just a curveball question, we always like to kind of ask every musician that comes in. I know you're still young. It's
Yes.
probably not on your mind, but I know you'd be singing about it quite a lot. Your dating
no.
life and see
Oh,
where you're
no.
at. But if there was like one musician in the world that you would just like, if you saw him in a room and you just would flaunt all over, who would that be?
Who would you want to date?
I feel like every girl my age might say this, but Harry Styles.
Really?
I mean, have you seen those dimples and the accent?
I mean, you must-
accent gets Americans every time.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I know a lot of people think that One Direction is the reason why The Office is going off Netflix. It's just been this crazy fake
Wait,
rumor.
I haven't heard that.
Well,
Wait,
because the One Direction's about to be coming out with the new movie coming out really soon. So everybody's saying that's the joke.
They're back together?
They're coming back together real soon.
you sure?
That's the rumor. I heard it from
I
my
haven't
friend
heard
Mandy.
that rumor.
My friend Mandy is
Hey,
so
listen-
obsessed with One
Listeners,
Direction.
you have heard it. You
So
have
I
heard
think
it
you heard
here
it
on Chris
first.
Collins' show. One
There was a new One
Direction.
Direction. But that's interesting, because I always thought that's so unique with what Harry Styles can do. And I know at times that you like to act here and there on the
Yes.
side. And was that somewhat of an inspiration, just kind of seeing what Harry Styles been doing? Or
I mean, anything he does is an inspiration.
It is very true.
I mean, I'm just amazed. Do you flaunt over Harry Styles, Marissa?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
I
and it's
said
just
that.
the dimples.
Yeah, and the accent.
She got the double
and
bat
he's-
eye too.
And he's hot.
So
and
how
he's
do I need
talented.
to talk?
Because
Because you told me I sound like Seth Rogen. And I don't know if that sounds
Oh my
attractive.
God,
Doesn't he
that's so
sound-
funny.
Doesn't he sound like?
Oh my God.
Like it's when he was on the phone, I was like, you could prank call people, and I would believe that you were Seth Rogen.
We might
We're
have to
gonna
pull
have
it
to
up
do this.
because I told her I do like an Arnie thing, like we get in here and we do a really great interview and stuff like that. But
Wow.
I didn't realize that not trying I sound like Seth Rogen, which is a beautiful
And even
thing.
right there, like it's the laugh I think that really gets me. It's
It
like
is.
Pineapple Express.
and
all
it's
the way.
also like
Hey, I'll take
you're
that.
chill. Like Seth
Yeah.
Rogen is just like he's just chill.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
chill.
I
Yeah.
dig that.
Okay, so we got who you want to date,
Yes.
right? But who would you want to collaborate with?
Yes.
Ooh, so many great artists.
If you had to pick just one.
Just one. That's so hard.
It doesn't even have to be a famous star. I mean, is there something that, I don't know? Is there some collaboration coming up pretty soon?
I mean, not that I know of, but I'd like there to be a collaboration soon. I feel like someone I'd really love to collaborate is Kalani.
Oh.
Yeah, just because
yeah.
she's like such a feminist and she's such a
Yeah.
strong woman in the business, and like her voice and her R&B, like I just
that
love
would
it.
be great. I
There
can see
has
that.
been a
We're
lot of
throwing
female-
it in the universe.
Yes.
Yeah, and there has been a
Kalani.
lot of female empowerment in R&B, and that's what I've been loving
know,
a
I love it.
lot.
Love it.
And I think that's what's so cool about you, because you are very vocal for such a young age. And
Yes.
how old are you?
I'm 16.
Yeah, 16. That's
Wait,
what
you're
I
still
said.
16?
Yeah, I'm turning 17 November 25th. Why did I have to think
you're
about that?
Are you a Scorpio or Sagittarius?
Sagittarius.
Almost. No,
See, I
I'm
don't follow
November
horoscopes.
16th. At least you're in November.
Yeah. We're November babies. It's okay.
No, and I think that's such a. That's
Happy early
That's why I get-
birthday.
Happy early birthday
You're
to you.
16.
Yeah.
At 16, I was not doing what you're doing.
no.
I was not even close. I was in Hollywood panhandling, like
Oh.
no future.
But see, that's why the listeners,
You're
when
like
you
such an inspiration to me.
exactly,
Oh,
and I
thank
know the
you.
listeners know that. And you know what I gotta
Wow.
say is, I really want, because before we even go into this short break, real quick, could you tell the listeners where they can even find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at official Mandi Macias and on Snapchat at Mandi Macias, and it's Mandy with an I, not a
Ooh,
Y.
you're
My
still
little-
doing
my
doing the Snapchat. I didn't even think that was still a
Yeah.
thing anymore.
Yeah, it's very big.
Wow, that's crazy.
They're
Maybe-
making movies on Snapchat now.
Wait,
And
are
TV
they like
shows.
premium movies? No, it's kidding.
this got to be a Generation Z thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
it has to
wow. Are you on TikTok?
be. No, I was when it was like Musically, but
Now
then
it's
I was
just
like,
a
yeah,
whole new
now
thing.
it's just I don't even know
Yeah,
what's
what
going
is
on.
TikTok now? Like, what is happening with
I don't
that?
know.
It's bizarre.
It's like I think it's like the modern day Vine. Do you guys remember
Oh,
Vine?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was like 6
Yeah,
seconds.
that makes sense.
And they were
like
like
that.
funny videos. I used to love Vine. I was really sad when it was gone.
Now people just kind of transition that
To
from
TikTok,
TikTok to Vine.
yeah.
I mean, we're always learning something new every day. I mean,
I
it's so
know,
cool.
right?
But I just want to remind all the listeners out there that you're listening to the Chris Collins Show. We got Mandi Macias in the house, and she's our featured Strike a Chord Artist of the month of September. And this is great. I'm having so much fun. So stick around after this.
And for those
Oh.
of you who have been streaming with us this morning, please
That's right.
continue to listen to our show by going to chriscollinshow.com and click the on-air button.
Yeah, click that on air button, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back in the studio. This is the Chris Collins Show, and we're talking with the one and only, the rather dashing. I think you got something great going on
Wow,
with
you're
yourself.
really blowing my head.
Dash.
up.
Yeah,
I
Mandi
know,
Macias.
wow.
I mean, you are our featured Strike a Chord Artist of the month of September, and like I said, the one thing I love about you is you're very vocal about your stance in life and about how you want to see action now. And I know
Definitely.
one of the things you were very vocal with me coming into this week was you want to see certain things change when it comes to school gun violence.
Definitely.
And when it comes to implementing a certain action, what's like the one thing that's on your mind that you would like to see change?
Well, I mean, this is such a big and serious problem. Like, it affects everyone. So like a little Band-Aid really isn't gonna like help it.
Yeah.
We need to like really like put our heads together and figure out how to fix this. But I think something we should start now is just really get background checks done. Like,
Yeah.
we need that. You know, there's so many guns that are being sold without background checks, and it doesn't even make sense to me.
Right.
Well, I
I
think
mean-
that
know?
Chris, you always said too, even with the background check, being able to buy it online
Yes.
is insanity.
It's
I
true.
don't. It
Yeah.
literally makes no sense to me.
Look,
at
if
all.
I can't go into AAA and just renew my driver's license, I don't think you can be
Right?
able to buy a gun
Or
online.
just to like
Yeah.
register your car. It's like a hassle. I mean, it's like if I have to have a driver's license to drive a car, you should have a license to
So-
operate a gun.
Yes.
It's that simple. No one's trying to tell you how to clean it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think that's something that's really important. You know, it's affecting so many young lives and like just people in general.
Yeah.
It's
so sad.
so true. And like
And
one
then
of the,
you're the voice of our kids in school right now.
you
Yeah.
really are.
I
And
mean,
you're
it really is.
Because when Marissa and I were at school, like at high school level, it was like, be quiet for 1 minute. Earthquake drill. Get under the table.
yeah.
We have
Now it's gotten
active
so.
shooter drills now, and it's terrifying.
How are those experiences like? Because I've never done one of them.
So I mean, I've heard some really like intense ones. We don't have like an actual person come in,
Okay.
but we have. They like yell like active shooter, and so everyone's like forced to run into the classrooms and like hide in closets while someone walks in. Like a teacher will walk in and like shake on the door to make sure it's like locked.
That's
Do you have to like
scary.
barricade the
Wow.
door or anything
Yeah,
like
we
that?
have to like move things, and they also tell us that if we weren't aware and if they were to walk into the room to like throw everything
Right.
at-
Yeah. You're supposed
at
to
the
just
shooter. But I feel like I don't know. I just like it's like such a like sad
Well,
situation
it's
that
actually
we even
sad.
have to
You know,
prepare.
they talked about
Yeah.
one of the last shootings. They say, to rush the gunman, the chances of getting shot are very small when you're actually rushing. And one of the high school students did it, and he was killed.
Yeah.
He did save his classmates from, but he rushed them and was shot and died. And it was
So sad.
But what about
it's-
like I'm
having that pressure
yeah.
on you guys for kids, being like, just so you need to throw things and rush them, and
Well, like I'm always
horrible.
adamant about just getting police officers on every high school. I don't see that being an issue. I had a police officer at Claremont High School. Never had one issue. He was actually the nicest guy ever. And I feel like that just makes you feel more comfortable when
We
you
have
go
a
to school.
security guard, and to get into our school, you have to show your ID. You have to wear your ID at all times. So, because at
Oh.
one of the last shootings, it was a student who had just graduated.
Yeah.
So now you have to
Oh.
wear an ID. It has to be an up-to-date ID, and you will not be let in if you don't have it. They're like,
Wow.
That's pretty good. What school is that?
so I do an independent study. So I
Yeah.
go to school 3 times a week instead of all 5 days, and it's called Opportunities for Learning.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Where was that when I dropped out of high school?
I can see
liked
Marissa's
it.
face like, I
I
could
was
have
like
loved that.
a junior, and I was 15, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm done here, and I just left.
And that's true. And I know we don't want to touch upon it for too long because I
Yeah.
know that could be such a daunting thing. And I know we definitely want action now.
Yes.
But I know, going back to you, Mandi, if you can have the fans remember one thing about you,
Okay.
what would it be? I know it's kind of early now.
I know. I feel like I really want them to remember me by my kindness, because I feel like my fans are like, they're like, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them enjoying what I do. So like, I want to be there for them as much as they are for me.
Right.
So that's really big to me.
And like our listeners are going to hear, like your music is a typical teenager going through life music. Like
Yeah.
it's not sugar coated over. It's not some crazy grimy. We're like, well, girl. It is
Yeah.
like like the average student. I think.
Well, because there's
in
been a lot of
person, and I love
repetitive
that.
music. I don't know. I could be speaking for myself, but I just think sometimes hip hop and R&B has fell in this trap in the last 3 years of all
Definitely.
sounding the same lyrically.
Definitely.
You know,
it's
and
all
there's-
about the same situation.
Well, they're using a lot of
Right.
the same producers.
True.
That-
That
yeah.
is very
So that's
true.
no-
But
big
wouldn't
thing,
you
there's a
hate to
sound.
blame the
Yeah.
producer for that reason,
No.
though?
Well,
I mean,
the
don't.
thing is, everyone has their little niche, So that's why it's really important for artists to like have different producers because then your music will all start sounding the same.
Yeah.
So
That's a great point. And I love always like throwing this out with you. I mean, like what do you think today is your best song and why?
oh, so all my songs are my babies. I mean, like as I write my songs, I like grow with them. One of my favorites for sure is "Young Girl."
Yes.
Just because I feel like it was written with a purpose, especially like it wasn't just me outletting all my emotions. Like I really wanted to target people to like tell them like you don't have to feel this way. It's okay,
Yeah.
and like be there for others,
And
That's
a
fine.
good
That was
po-
the song I
know,
picked.
you're good. That was Marissa's
I
favorite
actually
song.
got tears in my eyes.
And-
when I
Oh,
listened
no.
to
And
it.
listeners, just stick around because that will be the next segment, Strike a Chord, where we will be playing
Mm-hmm.
Mandi Macias' music. And you have an unreleased track that you're actually going to be
Yes.
premiering on the Chris Collins
I
show.
know, I'm so
So literally
excited.
stick around. It's going to be so cool. But Marissa, I know that you
Yeah.
had this crazy combination of
Okay,
artists
so
that you
I was
thought of.
listening through all your music,
Okay.
and I was like, God, you actually remind me of like a really early Ariana Grande,
Okay.
Selena Gomez. You know what
Yes.
I mean? You kind of have
Love
this
them.
this vibe of like it's not just the wholesomeness too, but it's also like, yeah, I'm a woman.
Oh,
I'm like, you know what I
thank
mean?
you.
Well, a lot of
And
your
I'm
lyrics
proud
are
to go
like, you
forward
know
for
what
that
you
and the
want,
strength. And so these are very strong, to me, these are strong female artists.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, do you draw inspiration from these artists or like who are the artists?
Yeah,
you
are
look
we-
Definitely.
towards?
I think any really like strong woman who's like in the industry and like kind of tells everyone what she wants because I feel like being a woman in the industry and it's predominantly male,
Oh,
male
yeah.
producers.
It's like 85%,
Yeah,
I want to say.
It's so to be able to be a woman in this industry and like tell people what you want and make what you want and not be like
Yeah.
determined. Like I love
That's
that. I
cool.
think my favorite right now is J-Lo. 'Cause
Yeah.
she does it all. She's,
Well, she can't act. I'm sorry. No,
well,
I'm going to put it on there. She was
Did you even
Hustler.
see the new movie?
I've seen the trailer. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
and she's
stop.
that's why.
great.
I was like, my heart
Cut
is
her mic.
broken.
CCS team, get
No,
in here.
I'm
Cut her
telling you, I
mic.
know. I heard she's great because she plays like herself, not the same
A
she's a stripper. But I mean, like, no, she does music, she's dancing, she's a boss woman.
Yeah.
But dude, you've seen some of these old movies she did back in the day with Ben Affleck. I was like,
Oh,
girl,
wait, which one
They're
are you talking
so
about?
adorable,
what
though.
was that movie? That was.
I'm
it was
having a
horrible.
brain
It was
for
like
it.
I
Glow,
liked
was it?
Mother-in-law. I thought
Yeah.
that Monster-in-law.
Monster. Okay.
I
She's
think
cute in
someone's a
that.
hater in the room. Okay, someone's a hater.
I love her music though.
Yeah, I just like that she's doing her thing now. She's on tour and she just did a movie. So
And
that's
just
great.
to ask you real quick, like, what is like the next step in your musical career? Like, where do
Yeah.
you see this direction going?
So I'm definitely working on more music. I'm releasing this new song. It's called Attention
Yes.
in October. So I'm going to be shooting a video for that.
Hey,
I'm really
let's
excited.
Go. And,
Very
all,
excited.
and all the listeners here at the Chris Collins Show that are
Yes.
tuning in, you actually get a little, not even a sneak peek. You're going to hear the whole thing,
Yeah.
and that's the best part. But Mandi, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at official Mandi Macias and on Snapchat at Mandi Macias, and it's Mandi with an I, not a Y.
Exactly. Got to make that very, very clear with the
Yeah.
listeners. They're hearing. And that's the best part. I want to remind all the listeners out there that you're listening to the Chris Collins Show. And if you want to become a member today, just go to thechriscollinsshow.com. It's that simple. What's good, listeners? I'm the host of The Chris Collins Show, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button below and check us out at thechriscollinsshow.com. Peace!